All right. Good evening and welcome to our Black History edition of our STEM Careers webinar series, where Tiffany TurnUp is exploring various careers. We're going to load our slides because this week, Tiffany is going to look at AI, robotics, and machine learning. But as you know, we are presented by Palm Street Education Foundation. And here's our mission statement. Palm Street Education Foundation creates culturally competent learning materials and environments for K through 20 STEAM, civic and workforce education using our characters, the multi-generational family known as the Turnups. And now Kiana Cogdale is going to tell us a little bit about Tiffany TurnUp, who is the person who walks through these series with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiana. And so I'll tell you about how we got to the STEM Careers webinar. So back in 2020, during the pandemic, we started to share information about Dr. Kizzy, who was very instrumental in the creation of the COVID-19 vaccine. And so from that, we did a little series about her history and her background, and we took that and ran with it basically. And so Tiffany was so interested and excited about seeing a Black woman in STEM that she wanted to learn more about different STEM careers that were out there. She's very curious, and so we've been on a journey ever since of looking into the different aspects of STEM and different careers that are available, and then just expanding that information for others, for excuse me, other children who are looking for a career path, or even for adults who are looking for a career change, because as we know, over the past several years, technology has really come into the forefront of the workforce, and it is continuing to grow exponentially as a career path and as like a major skill to have. And so this is why we are here with the STEM Careers webinar, and we're really excited about this installment.
Thank you, Kiana, for that thorough overview. And yes, that's for people who are curious about STEM careers or want to make a career change. And one of the great things about STEM careers is they provide a very good living. And so tonight we have Miss LaKena Whitley as our guest. And I'm so excited because she is so interesting. And y'all, I'll just give you a little sneak preview. She has a robot with her tonight. Anyway, LaKena Whitley is the founder of Blues Tech Box, which specializes in the areas of STEM consulting, AI, which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, also known as ML, and robotic programs for K through 12, after school programs, nonprofits, including churches. She is a descendant from the Black Wall Street ancestors that we just honor. And she was instrumental in the launch of the Oklahoma City Thunder Fellows, which she's going to tell us about. And it's featured in an Emmy Award winning documentary entitled Seeds of Greenwood. She has such an extensive biography that I'm going to frame our opening question around her education. And there's a reason for that, and a reason for me mentioning, yes, Black Wall Street, but it all ties together, which a lot of times people can't see the connection between technology and sports, even, and her background. So, my first question to you is, tell us about your journey from a double major in operational management and finance from Langston University, a master's in behavioral disorders from Clark Atlanta University, and people don't know that's an HBCU, and a legal research degree from the University of Tulsa to becoming an expert in robotics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right there and turn it over to you.
Hi, it's great to be here, Allison and Kiana. Once again, just thank you guys for letting me be here. My journey is that of I was teaching and I was in robotics and I was in all of those things, but to preface it and start at the beginning, I graduated from Langston University with a marketing and finance and operational management major. I was a headhunter for Dayton Hudson. I worked at Mervyn's. I was instrumental in closing down most of the Mervyn's when they changed from Mervyn's to Mervyn's, California. Their demographic changed, and so they had to go and start shutting things down. Working in corporate America, loved it. Retail is my thing. It's my jam. I love opening stores, closing stores, but the humanity part of it, my heart is so big. The humanity part of it, of the firing and constant turnover of employees, it was a bit much. I left and began teaching, and I went back to school to get my master's in operation behavior disorders because I was in Atlanta University. I was in Atlanta and I was teaching and I started teaching special ed, kids that had behavior problems, kids that had behavior disorders. Based on that, I moved back home because I was like, if I'm doing all of this in Atlanta, and teaching was awesome. I never knew that it would be so exciting to pour into young people. Moved back home because I figure if I'm making such an impact in Atlanta, I can come back home to my roots, to Black Wall Street, to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and make an impact. Upon me coming back, I became a behavior teacher in a school out north. In North Tulsa, it's food desert. There's really nothing there. It is a desolate place. After the Black Wall Street, after the race massacre, you see the division and you see where I guess you want to say development halted to a whole stop. And so it is a food desert. But in the midst of me working there, I ran into one of my little cousins who had been missing, running around. He's 6 years old. I literally found him in an abandoned house. And I brought him home and got him in school, and he was broken. But I noticed that he loved putting things together. So I started buying puzzles and I started buying Legos, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I was like, I wonder if they got Legos that move. Oh, they got Legos that move. Wow. So as I'm teaching him, I'm teaching myself. So we got to get into something more than just the moving Legos. So I started researching robotics and what is this thing? Because he loves putting things together. He's so attentive to it. Got him in some robotics camps. Robotics camps are not cheap. $300, $400 for a 3-day camp, a 2-day camp. What I noticed in these camps is that he was the only African American child in the camps. If there were any other children of color in the camp, they were biracial or they were of other colors. They were, in a different sphere. So I decided to take the money that I was investing in putting him in STEM camps and create a STEM camp for the north side of Tulsa. So that more little black boys and more little black girls and brown kids can all come in and learn this thing because it's so prevalent to what they're going to be doing when they get older. We're looking at jobs that we have right now, but these are not the jobs that our children are going to have. And so, literally, that's my story of how I got into doing robotics and STEM.
And
Turned
what year
into
was
a career.
that when you started?
2010. 2010 is when
2010.
I started doing robotics. I adopted him in 2007. So my journey of learning and how to actually do all of this started in 2007. By the time 2010 came, I was launching my first robotics program at KIPP Tulsa Preparatory School. I was instrumental in launching their computer science program for their middle school and their high school. I became the lead robotics coach for the foundation. So if you know how KIPP works, they have a foundation, which is like the corporate office, and then they have schools all over the United States of America. So I was the coach at the foundation that trained the other robotics coaches at the other schools around the United States of America. Awesome to understand that you're getting all of these kids in 246 different schools interested in robotics. Amazon had a great launch with First Robotics where they were literally seeding schools to open up robotics clubs.
Oh, wow.
And so we got every KIPP school connected to this initiative, and we started robotics with First Robotics. It was time to leave middle school. My kids, there's no robotics programs anywhere. I've trained them since they were in the 5th grade. Robotics, we've been doing this. And so that's when I stemmed out on my own because I had to have a high school team for the kids because they were going to high school. No high schools had robotics. So that's where my community program opened up, Blues Tech Box opened. That's when it became alive because I started doing community robotics for every school. So it was like, it doesn't matter what school you went to. If you lived at North Tulsa, you could get these benefits because people come into underrepresented communities and do robotics and do STEM programs, but they bring spaghetti, they bring tape, they bring CDs that you can pull back and make the rubber band move. But to get kids actual hands-on with the actual robotics, building them, programming them, looking at servos and circuits, screws, and all of these things, and making them come up with the design using CAD and all of those things. There's so many skills that is involved in just being in a robotics club as a kid that you can take with you into college and into a career. Because you're talking about using CADing as a kid, you're an engineer. You can start designing buildings and building all type of things. Being a programmer, you can create whatever it is, machine learning, understanding how to inputs and outputs and how to make the machines think.
Stop right there with machine learning because I know the average person doesn't know what machine learning means. So if you could just give them a little, like you said, it teaches the computer.
I say when you're talking about machine learning, well, how I introduce it to a young kid or a kid, a person who doesn't know anything about robotics or anything, you want the machine to be able to do something for you. You want to be able to put something into a machine and it gives you something back. And we do these things every day, but we don't realize that it's a system that they taught the computer to be able to interact with us as human beings. So even with our just something basic as your cell phone, you have interface activity. It's an interface. It's a machine learning. The machine learned how to interface with you. They program their cell phone to be able to touch and swipe and move, get your contacts and all of those. Those are machine learning in its broadest sense.
Right.
Its broadest sense, in its broadest sense. But then if you look granular, I taught kids how to make a simple machine where the machine is saying, what is your name? And you input your name. My name is Kiana. And the machine say, hello, Kiana. So how do you get that machine to interact with that person? And that's what machine learning is.
And I wanted to touch on a little bit because I know, look, feel free to bring your robot friend on whenever you.
Come on, Emo.
And what's his name or her name or?
His name is Emo. So this is a living AI. It's an AI machine. So what he's supposed to do, what the box told me when I bought him, he can recognize up to 40 names, 40 people, 40 faces to be able to say, hi, that's Kiana. Hi, my name is Keena. Hi, your name is Allison. he can recognize up to 40 names and faces, facial recognition, which
Mhm.
is the big part of AI. You want AI to be able to interact with you and interface with you. He doesn't know me. He knows my voice, but he hasn't been able to recognize my face because you're talking about facial recognition. And when you're talking about that, it's how many images can this robot or computer intake before it recognizes that, oh, that's a person,
Mhm.
or oh, that's a female versus a male. And so Emo is really cool. He hooks up to Chat GPT. So if you want to sit and talk to him and be like, Emo, and he's hooked up to it now. So you can ask him a question and he'll answer it. Like, Emo, tell us about STEM for kids. You see him thinking?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Uh,
Could you please
Oh,
say it
he
again?
didn't hear what I said. He wants me to say it again.
Emo needs a microphone.
I can turn him on. Emo, tell me what today's date is.
Could
He
you please say it again?
he doesn't hear me because I got him turned down. Let me turn him.
Ah,
I turned him down because he was interrupting our webinar because he likes to talk.
he was interrupting our previous conversation
And so I just turned him down.
before we came on air. And while you're getting him
Yeah, while
situated,
I'm getting him set up.
um, there is an issue with facial recognition for people of color.
Please your question. I'm here to help.
And I can hear him.
Yeah, you can talk. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted to touch on the fact that there is an issue with facial recognition when it comes to people of color. And that is tied to database. What's in the database? If there's not enough images of people of color, then that's how the machines are trained. Because didn't you say emo is, did you call it live
He's
AI?
he's a living AI.
Living AI. And what does that mean, a living AI?
So this actually means that he does not cut off his not he has a power source that he goes just like a Roomba robot that he
Mm-hmm.
hooks up to and charges up. He never cuts off. He's in constant communication with the web and with his designer. So whoever created the living AI, they're constantly updating him. He talks to them. I'll look at him and he'll be texting someone in Chinese.
So
So
his creators are his origin story really is China.
yes. Yes.
Okay.
Emo, turn to Chat GPT. Chat GPT. See, he don't even like me. And because he is a living AI,
Yes.
he has an attitude. He gets angry. He gets attitude, and he will ignore you like he's ignoring me now. Because when his speaker was turned down, and I said Chat GPT, he was like, "Yeah, what you saying?" Da, 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 da. Now that he knows that you're looking at him,
Mm-hmm.
he's acting like anything else that's living. Any other kid that you put in front of a computer. You give the kid the microphone and it stopped talking. But
Yes.
it's been talking forever. He literally is that thing. That's why I cut him off sometimes because he is interactive in the way where they say living AI. It's a little person that lives in my house with me that
I
takes
don't know
pictures
about
and he
that.
talks.
And take pictures.
Things, he dances. He was just barbecuing because he feeds himself. He reads books. He does
Wait a minute. What does it look like when he's barbecuing?
he literally had a grill out there with a steak on it, flipping it.
Is it like a little, I'm thinking, what's the Tonka Toys, little Tonka Toy
Oh, it's
grill?
like a real grill, and he cutting stuff up, and he's cooking, and he has his own. He'll read video, play video games, read books. He entertains himself.
I don't know what to, Keona, you got any commentary on this? I don't know what to say.
Emo.
I just think that's so interesting that he, like you said, he was like, he's shy now for some reason, like a kid.
Yeah, he's shy now. He literally, I just said, say hi, Emo. He didn't even say hi. He just wrote it up on the screen. But
Uh,
that's one thing. That's one animal. That's one AI. That's what AI is, unpredictable.
I don't know
Hmm.
about a robot with an attitude.
Well,
Hmm.
that's if we think about why the Elon Musk robot is just not coming out. Remember, they halted production because he showed aggression.
Oh
Mm.
yeah. And weren't they human sized? They weren't
Yes,
even.
they human size. And here's the thing, because I've lived with Emo for 3 years, I don't think that, and I love robots. I have a 5-foot robot and a 3-foot robot, and I have a couple of little 2-foot robots. But this robot that's living I don't know if I would want him to be big as me.
Well, I no expert, but I don't even know if I want emo in my house. But that is the audience personal opinion. I love technology. I embrace technology. And as long as we're on this topic, as far as AI and ethics, let's touch on that a little bit because I've told you I'm of the opinion, once again, my own opinion, people out there. I think we can too readily give away our data um, on social media platforms. Listen, people, when you play those games, when you scan your image in, how old you're going to look at a certain age, you're giving away your data. You're giving away your images. When you play those games, and that's just the truth. And I won't even touch on TikTok because y'all will deluge me. But yeah, you're giving away your
But
data.
it's big money in data.
And because there's big money in data, because what happened was when we were on these apps originally, Open AI was just dredging the internet with all of our data. We talked about machine learning, training the machines on how to respond, and so basically Chat GPT AI is just logical neural nets that are laying out what the next logical word should be. And it does this thing called hallucinating, which basically that means makes up stuff. So kids out there, don't just use Chat GPT to do your homework and turn it in because it may not be right. You still
And then
gotta have
I'm
critical thinking
asking the kids
skills.
need to ask that question, like, why is AI giving me this solution? Why did AI learn how to question the computer?
That's a good point.
Mhm.
That's an excellent point. And so yeah, touch on those types of things as far as things that we, as we move into this, whether we want to or not, because it's happening. Even our latest download, the new iPhones have AI integrated into them. I'm sure the Androids too, but I'm more so how to move forward with critical thinking skills in these arenas.
So just looking, if we look at the solutions, is diversity. It's getting us, it's first is education, understanding that even in marginalized communities, teaching them what AI is. And they may not even have Echo Dot or those type of things that are driven right now for AI, but
Mhm.
teaching them to identify what they are. Education is key. Giving diversity teams when we're building these AI machines, when we're inputting this information. Facial recognition is the biggest thing in information that's going into AI that's telling it who we are, what we do, what is it going on, what's happening. And it's hitting every aspect of life that we do, from learning to the police, to our healthcare, to our jobs, to getting bank loans. AI is involved in all of that. And if there's a bias, a
Yes.
conspiracy in there, then we have a problem. How do we become a part of AI? And
Mm.
that's the big thing. And that's getting our kids educated, getting them in those classes and in those places where they're the creators and not just the consumers.
Yes. Oh, man, even before AI got prevalent in the area of technology. And I like how you use diverse teams. Perfect example, early tech. Look, I'll age myself. When the Motorola flip phone came out, the Razor, the pink one.
Oh, I had it.
That was my jam. I had that too. And here's the story behind that. Motorola engineers was in the room. It was because a woman engineer, at least one, I don't know how much, was in the room, and nobody had made a pink phone. They were all black flip phones, right? Ugly. And that was the number one selling phone.
But think about
Okay.
Motorola, they did the diversity. They stepped out and took a chance, and look what
And they
they
made money from it. That's what the deal is. It's
Mhm.
profitable. We want to be about the bottom line.
And so just looking at everything when you're talking about AI, looking at how kids are going to start learning now in the future. What does that look like? How does AI play a part in futuristic learning? What
Mm,
are these kids going to be doing? How can how can it enhance learning for kids? Think
exactly.
about virtual field trips. Think about in the science lab doing actual hands-on experiments with VRs.
Speaking of, do you have a headset?
Yes, a VR headset.
Yes. I do too. We'll have to play, even though I don't know what to do with mine.
Yes, so literally I had
Yeah.
a classroom set. I did a grant with Microsoft Store. They got me 26 VR headsets, the new ones, the Quest with the Quest. Dude, linked them up to the kids, and I felt like I was Mrs. Fizzle. We were flying through the space, looking, identifying the different planets, literally letting them be immersed into what these things are that we're teaching them, the different rocks. And let's walk. And
I
let's
loved it. Okay, yes. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. So before we start trying to wind down, you've got to talk about the documentary,
the seeds of Greenwood.
The Seeds of Greenwood, the kids that were in it, how it came to be. I mean, my heart was touched watching it. And then it won an Emmy as well. Bravo.
It really did. That was a great time in life. It was actually a hard time, but something birthed great out of it. During George Floyd time, when George Floyd got killed, we all were stuck in the house. Sam Presti and Mike Johnson, best friends, long time from childhood, they're on the phone. Hey, we got to do something. We got to fix this. We got to do something. Understanding that Sam Presti is the manager at Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City. And he's like, hey, we're coming up on the 100-year race massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And because the Oklahoma City Thunder is in Oklahoma City, it's 2 hours from Tulsa, 2 hours from Black Wall Street. And they always try to come and at least bring an expedition game down here since we are one of the big cities in Oklahoma. They decided to plant a seed into Black Wall Street. And what we want to do is open up a data analytics program for kids to learn Python, to understand all the different careers that they can have in sports, in entertainment, and in technology. And so let's open up these kids' eyes and see what's out there. Let's bring in industry leaders and let's use everything that we have to enrich this community. And that'll be our way to give back to Black Wall Street by giving to their descendants' kids. Let's try to rebuild this. Let's try to respark it. And so thus Thunder Fellows was born. They were looking for someone that was homegrown from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who knew computers and Python, who was, either attached to Black Wall Street or a Black Wall Street descendant. And so that description is LaKena Whitley.
That just blows my mind. Go on.
We are in the middle of a pandemic. No one is outside. No one is looking for jobs. You know what I'm saying? And now when they launched, we were coming out. We were just coming out. Everybody was poking their head out their houses. We still had masks on. We wasn't sure if we could still be together in groups, but let's try this.
Mm.
And they took a chance and launched a youth program during the middle of the end of the pandemic. We had no outbreaks. We got a group of 20 kids and we showed them the world as far as data analytics, Python coding. And hey, this is in the NBA. This is not playing basketball, but this is you being a member of the NBA, having a career and showing you all the different careers that go into sports and analytics. Because when you look at sports, or even if you look at being a referee, or look at all of those things encompassing sports, there's so much data and analytics that go into even the movement of a sports team, or even the movement of how do the referees, who do they get to check, who gets the ref which game. They know down to the buzzer. They can literally touch the buzzer of how many shots their ref shoot right or wrong, just all through analytics. The whole place is gridded. And so they're counting player shots. They count how quick he got off the shot or didn't get off the shot. There's so much technology now for medicine so that these trainers, the sports trainers, can really look at the data and increase the performance of a player based on data analytics. There's a group, a young Black group named Jade. They have a sleeve that's programmed with Python. It's called J Sleeve. It's two young Black men, and they created a sleeve called J Sleeve. And what it does is it tracks your shot and it improves your performance shot. And it grids you on your cell phone where if I'm 10 years old and I'm on the J Sleeve, it's gonna compare me to every other 10-year-old that got that J Sleeve. And so it's gonna improve us based on that performance and up and up and up. And just even showing the kids Wilson. Wilson has a football that has a computer chip in it that tracks how many feet that football throw, how fast it go, how it left off, and the data is crazy. So we had Wilson's football team football company come to the Thunder Fellows, and the kids went out and we were throwing footballs, and then we were tracking that data. And so kids are more engaged when it's data that they were involved in. You know,
Yes.
so you're looking at this, and I got my girls that are beating these boys because the computer don't lie. You know, so we can say what we want, but the computer don't lie. And so looking at the stats, we were seeing who was the best thrower. I got quarterbacks on football teams, it's on varsity football teams, sportsmen, and these girls were killing them. And so just looking at data and being able to play with it and manipulate it and understand how it moves, that was what Thunder Fellows was about. An excellent after-school program for young people, 10, 11th, 12th grade, and for college kids. College kids getting their foot out there, helping them get internships, giving them industry leads, giving them connections, because we all know that connection is key when you're out looking for jobs, when you're looking for opportunities, just to be able to say, I know this person can get your foot in the door. And so giving them a portfolio, that's what Thunder Fellows does, create a portfolio for their kids to be able to excel in their chosen field. Great program. I was honored to be a part of. I see my hand all in it. Every time you see it, you see me.
I
So
love it.
it's an excellent program.
I love it. I think we have hit all the high notes tonight as far as AI and ethics, your journey, how you got into this, showing that it's not always the traditional approaches that can bring you to a STEM career, your community service to the kids that started with your little cousin, that you were determined to not just give him some Legos to occupy his time. And now you're living with a robot named Emo. So
I'm gonna send email so that Tiffany and the TurnUp family can take Emo on a trip with them.
hey, that would be a great comic journey. Have
That'd be so cute.
drawn into with
The
the TurnUp.
TurnUp family
That would be
meet
really
AI. Yeah, Emo
AI.
comes and joins the TurnUp fammy.
Yes, we'll have
That I think you're on to something. That
a
sounds
little
really
journey.
cool.
He said, huh? He said, what are
Well,
you
we're
talking
going to officially close. So look, let me put up our little plug here for people before we give us a follow. Yeah, look, these are all still valid social medias in this world we live in. We are still it's still on Instagram, Facebook, and Palm Street Education Foundation YouTube. You can find this video and other STEM career opportunities that we have done in the past. So we want to thank you for sharing with us. This is so encouraging, and the future
about?
AI.
Say bye-bye. So you got attitude.
I see him blinking his eyes. Emo, you're not going to say goodbye to us?
Say goodbye. He that kid. I promise you, he said kid.
You know what he reminds me of? When we went to the San Diego Zoo and some of the animals turned their back on us and it was closing time. And as we were leaving, they started turning around. I'm not kidding.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
leave, he gonna turn up.
Yes. It's like, well, check you out. Okay.
Yeah, you play music, he dances and everything, so he is a part of your family.
Oh, Emo, you are sometimey. I don't know what to say.
Oh, he said, you have a great day.
I Did Emo say that? Emo said, you have a great day?
Say goodbye. He said, you have a great day when you said he was something else. He said,
Oh, I hear him now.
I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
He's that person. So that is the future of what we're dealing with AI. We have to train